Welcome back to the Square. I am your host, Curtis the Fifth.
And I'm Curtis the Fourth.
We are a quarter of the way through the season, kind of wonking out with 17 games, but we're 4 weeks in. Everything is in the books for week 4. Had a very fun week. We both went 11-5. Got there in different ways, but we'll get to that in a little bit here. But yeah, fun week. We're going to dive in like we always do. We're going to recap week 4, look at some news, headlines, stuff like that. Head into our power rankings and make our game picks for week 5. So starting off with week 4, recapping that, getting all that fun stuff out of the way here. Yeah, we had some fun games, and we are going to start with, what is it going to be? Bears Lions 24-14 Sunday. Bears look better.
Yeah.
Still a little bit of concern, but
I mean, they got the win that was expected. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. I don't take the way you're making it sound as well. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not taking too much from this. Nothing more than it was a game they were supposed to win.
Yeah,
they looked a lot better than Cleveland. Okay, we can get back into reevaluating the team now.
Mm-hmm.
On a positive note or moving forward, but they just basically had to right the ship from week 3. So it's the ship is turned. Now we got to figure out, okay, now do we move ahead in week 5? That's I don't want to put the cart before the horse any further, because beyond that is about as much as happened. Bottom line, the Bears needed to win that game, and that was it. Now, to be impressive, they needed to nearly pitch a shutout in this one, where
which they did in the first half. I mean, they looked really good in the first half. My what I said, my concern comes from is specifically Akeem Hicks went down in the second half, so took a hit there. They were able to move the ball a little bit more, and then they capitalized on some good field position. Justin Fields had a bad pick in the second half. Like there's a lot of things that still need to be worked on. This is what I would have wanted to see, even in a loss. This is what I would have wanted to see last week against Cleveland. But yeah, like you said, we're not going to write home about anything. David Montgomery looked fantastic in the game, but now he's out with a knee injury. A knee sprain is what we're calling it. So just glad it's not an ACL tear for my fantasy team.
I like to give him the Iron Man award this year already, just for the fact that he's even going to attempt to come back, as opposed to you get a lot of one and dones, one injury, we're finished. I.e., we didn't get a Saquon Barkley situation.
Yeah.
So
that was that. Bears win 24-14, solid win. Just want to see them be able to finish a little bit better and protect the football. That defense got after the football, got a lot of turnovers, a lot of stupid plays by the Lions for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bears did what they were supposed to do, and they capitalized off of those plays. So happy to see that trending in the right direction. But definitely, like I said, a lot of work needs to be done there. A game that really wasn't a game that I think we should talk about on Sunday was Bills. Absolutely thrashed the Texans 40-0.
As they were supposed to.
True.
But I did not think they were going to do that. I
should have took that line. 17.5. That was easy work for Josh Allen and the Bills over there. Oh my God.
Yeah. Man, I have no comeback to that. So yes, agreed.
Josh Allen, he killed it in the game. 20 for 29, 248 in passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Devin Singletary had 14 carries for 79 yards. I don't think I've ever seen a stat line where he's got more than 10 carries and not get injured. Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions for 114 yards, starting to look like his old self here. So yeah, they played an all-around fantastic game. Had a great pickup with Dawson Knox on my team, changed my team name and everything, and he still got me 2 touchdowns. So great week out of that
It
one.
is such a novice move you made. I'm sitting there like I sat on this for a whole week, and I'm like, no. I'm just making a
Let's
point.
clarify. I did
so
try to
much-
make the move last week, but the app glitched and didn't let me make the ad.
That's your story. No one can confirm nor deny that. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, it's much more impactful when you pick him up the week of.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have
he
played
got
him
a
last week,
touchdown.
and he still would have
I
been
mean, he
great.
got a touchdown last week, but I mean, to walk in and he does that,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like, dude, been on this block for a whole week now. Where you been?
So was I. I just it didn't come. I was 100% on that
He was
one.
not allowed on the block.
I was because I
around.
was also telling you 2 weeks before I was talking about anybody who has Dawson Knox needs to change their team name to what I actually ended up changing mine to is the one who knocks.
Yeah. You know, I'm in another league and they do a lot of that over there.
Yeah.
Man. It's like, dude, y'all,
I think I've changed my team name 3 times this
y'all
season.
lame, man. Just, focus on winning. How about that? You focus on your team name. Like, get out of here. We're gonna be losers in a minute because too many L's. But whatever. But no, I just, yeah, okay. Play on words. I get it. Yeah, I got it. Got it.
Enough fantasy talk. But no, this was a great game by the Buffalo Bills. They came out and really they laid the hammer down, and they were not going to let any questions come out of this week of who are the Buffalo Bills anymore. They're back on track. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and this is the team that we thought they were coming into the season. Not that lame duck performance they put up in week 1 against Pittsburgh.
Hey, don't make no reference to my team names, okay? Stop that.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's talk about a real game that happened though. Dallas Cowboys 36, Carolina Panthers 28. Both of these teams to me are for real.
Yes. I was not down on Carolina. I remember I was just saying I just need to just see more work. Now that did not mean I had to see them win. I just need to keep seeing them play. And even in that loss, they still look, they're a legit team.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my goodness. Like, I didn't expect them to make this kind of jump, led by Sam Darnold. I can't say enough about who is this guy. I'm sorry, NFL, y'all have never seen this player play, just like I've never seen. This is the first time we got to see this version of Sam Darnold. I mean, like, and this is light years from what was going on in New York. So,
I mean, 4 total touchdowns for him, but I think the biggest thing is that he has to clean up those interceptions for sure to not put his team in sticky situations, especially against an offense like Dallas right now. But defensively, I mean, they got kind of carved up, but still looked pretty impressive in my opinion against an offense like this. To be able to keep them under 40 points, I think is one thing, but also, I mean, a lot of these points were scored off of Sam Darnold's turnovers there, but it's neither here nor there. Both sides of the ball on both teams look really good, and again, another sneaky good performance from Dallas's defense to really cement them as they are a solid team all around that is going to be in contention. This is going to be a team. Got to correct myself from the preseason preview shows. This team is going to the playoffs. I'm saying it 4 weeks in. This team is solid. This team all around is playing great football right now.
Absolutely. I think I was a little higher on Dallas going into the season, but you had them at number 2, which is fine. I'm just saying I had a little more optimism based on which was the offense, but that defense from last year was just
so abysmal.
Right, and we didn't know. No one really knew how much of a improvement that they made coming into this year. So I mean, you got to side with with caution here, and just like until the defense shows me something, I can't take this team seriously. And then we had week 1, and I mean, like, put out a damn good showing against the defending champs. So
did the same thing in week 2 against the Chargers, helped them to 17 points.
It was not an anomaly. It's just like, okay, they actually improved their defense, where it's at least it is comparable to the point of where they can compete. They're not necessarily going to shut you down, as you can see they 36-28, but they offense again, which is might be a top 5 offense in the league this year from what I'm seeing. Arguably, it definitely a top 10, and it shows. But as you're seeing in this Carolina, a red hot Carolina team coming in 3-0, and Dallas was able to stifle them. Had a big third quarter, and
Yeah, that third quarter is what got away from Carolina. They just couldn't do anything.
And then didn't get themselves enough time in the fourth quarter to be able to put it away.
They put on a fantastic performance in the fourth quarter. They outscored Dallas 14-3 in the fourth quarter to try to make a comeback there. And
Darno and DJ Moore just decided it's just gonna be me or me. Look, it's us, nobody. So it's that. So you had that Darno Moore show going on, but still came up 7 points short. I'm like, you got 8 points short. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a one possession game.
New math. So, one possession game. Just came out a little flat in the beginning of the second half, and it came back to bite them at the end. But I take nothing away from Carolina. Carolina is legit. I know we kind of was going back and forth on this. I'm like, man, I have to put them in a playoff contention at this point. Like, they're damn impressive. So, it was just one of them games where it's unfortunately somebody had to lose, because I didn't want to see either team lose. They're both two teams that's coming from struggling past and looking to rebound their seasons, and then they hit a collision course in week 4, and here we are. But at the end of the day, Dallas, and the $1 billion playpen decided, you know what?
We can close it out.
Yeah, we need to take this. We need this a little bit more than you. So
So I mean, it was a good game, but from both sides, I just like seeing everything from both sides of the ball from both of these teams. Sam Darnold is looking good, clean up the turnovers, and they'll be just fine. Dallas, continue doing what you're doing, feed off of Trayvon Diggs in that defense, and continue to put up the points you do. You're going to win a lot of games. So
this has to be arguably the most of week 4. One of the most this had to be the most balanced offensive attack that I've seen statistically.
Oh yes,
30 rush carries. You never, unless you're just, your name's Derrick Henry, you never hear about a team rushing for 30 times.
Tennessee has nothing else, and we'll get to them in a second.
No. But 30 rush yards, which allows Dak to only have to throw 22 times and threw for under 200 yards, but still got 4 touchdowns. That's efficiency personified. Like we just short burst packages and still come out with 36 points, hold the team to 28. I mean, Carolina's no slouch.
Yeah.
And one of the best well-played, executed games, I think, statistically.
And I'll say one thing, just to wrap things up with Carolina in this game as a whole. I think people need to stop underrating Sam Darnold. I know he's kind of having this breakout season here, but he's not just a thrower of the ball. I know he threw it almost 40 times in this game for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he can run. I mean, the 2 rushing touchdowns, when he gets in the run, I think he's leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns this season right now.
I mean, 6 for 35 for 2. Oh my God, I didn't even realize you did that.
Yeah, this dude is not. He's no slouch. He's definitely better, especially in the passing game and decision makings, but kind of how people are like sneaky. Daniel Jones is a really good runner. He's really athletic. Sam Darnold's the same, but he's also able to lead a team and throw the ball. And we'll get to the Giants in a second as well. So I'll say
it's fair to make a comparison of his run game is like Daniel Jones. His emergence in this past game, I'm going to say, reminds me of Ryan Tannehill. Going over to Tennessee, making that jump. Just to put the 2 scenarios together, that's what I'm seeing.
I mean, I think he has the arm talent of a Ryan Tannehill, but I think he has a better head than Ryan Tannehill does. I think he has way more confidence than Tannehill does, and I think that confidence just kind of takes his talent and takes it to that next level, if you will, with Sam Darnold. And this is, I'm high on Sam Darnold. I think Carolina's going to go places this season. So let's move on before I go on a rant.
Yep.
The Colts get their first win. I don't want to get into this one too much. 27-17 wasn't really that thrilling of a game. Kind of a slugfest, if you will. Snooze fest as well. But 27-17, they get their first win of the season. They get that monkey off their back, and Carson Wentz looked pretty good. 24 for 32, 228, and 2 touchdowns. And then also Jonathan Taylor finally has a solid game this week. 16 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown as well. So,
and he did that against a very quiet not looked at kind of an underrated defense in
Yeah.
Miami. So I definitely was impressed with it for various reasons, but
Yeah.
finally cashed in on that. But
Yeah. For
still
all
got
of
the,
you who don't get that, he has Jonathan Taylor on his fantasy team.
yeah, and still received L. Nevertheless.
Yeah.
So go figure that. Fantasy play.
Yeah.
Moving on.
It
But yes,
happens.
16 for 103, a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he in contention for getting the second one in that game at some point?
I think he was close to this one. I kind of ignored for the most part because I've
It's
got some
Miami, man. I don't
Indianapolis
want to watch
burnout right
this.
now.
Right.
But he also he played. This was a quiet game for him from the receiving game though, which is a little bit concerning. When he got 3 carries or three receptions for 11 yards. When he was pretty balanced the week before and in previous weeks this season.
Mm-hmm.
Want to see a little bit more balance out of him. Be able to do more in the pass game as well. But there's not too much more to say about this game. The game that I was kind of disappointed in, Browns go over to Minnesota. This was the first one that you got right that I didn't. Minnesota.
So revenge there for the Minnesota game.
14-7. Browns get the win on the road. But I'm a bit disappointed in the Browns in this game. I mean, even though I took Minnesota to win the game, I expected the Browns offense to translate a little bit better over here in Minnesota. Nick Chubb, obviously 21 carries for 100 yards, very solid. Don't even have the box score up to see what Kareem Hunt did.
14 for 69 and a touch.
Yeah. So, I mean, that run game is moving pretty well. But Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham's connection is really starting to concern me. And this is, I think, the concern a lot of people have going into the season when it comes to Cleveland's offense. What do you see out of Cleveland that they have an issue getting the ball from Baker Mayfield's hands to Odell's hands?
I don't know if it's just pass protection. I mean, where he keeps he's scrambling out of the pocket and he's throwing on the run. From what I was seeing from last week's game, But again, let me preface this before I finish answering that question. Minnesota is not an easy out.
No, they're not.
And they were in Minnesota, so we got kind of a throwback defensive battle here, like you see back in the day.
For sure, but one touchdown out of Cleveland.
Now let me answer the question. But it's I'm saying pass protection. It just seems to me that Baker needs maybe another second or two before, because what's happening, he's reacting really quickly, and he's almost borderline happy feet. He's gone. He's taking off. He just doesn't seem comfortable in the pocket. He's not getting the space or the time, I guess, or Odell's not getting the time to get open. But in fairness, we haven't seen Odell and Landry together at all. So,
and that is the other thing. Landry's not on the field as it is right now with his injury, but it's disappointing to see Odell get kind of beat a DB down the field, and then it's just a bad misplaced ball where it's just nobody can get it, which is one thing, because a couple years ago when he was under the old coup, I can't remember his name, Freddie Kitchens, when that was first year of Odell Beckham over here, and he's throwing the ball to him, and those missed balls to Odell would turn into interceptions, into the ball going the other way, and points on the board against them. Now they're turning into just incompletions, live to see another down type plays, and it's just like, it gets to it at a point. It gets a little bit frustrating to know, like, the talent that Baker Mayfield has when Odell's not there, and the talent that Odell clearly has from his entire career, and then to see those two come together and just never be able to be on the same page. It's tough, but like you said, Jarvis Landry isn't there either.
No, and I mean, and now we got we can see clearly there's an indictment now we need to put out on their receiving core. That number 3 to 6, whoever, non-existent.
Not working out.
I mean, Rashad Higgins. The only reason why I believe he was the leading receiver is because Odell took so much attention
there was
away.
no.
There was nowhere else to throw.
Yeah.
Someone had to catch the ball at some point, and he got 7 targets. Probably, put him and Landry in the game, like Odell and Landry. Rashard Higgins might not see more than 3 targets possibly in the game. So it's he had a solid game. It would have been nice if he had a touchdown, but taking the context, yeah, it was just Odell by himself. And I mean, granted, any defense can just double, put a nice zone around him and just watch him, and just watch him the whole game, and just keep, and make them do a lot of underthrows where, I mean, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 different receivers, really, but 2 targets here, 4 targets there, 2 targets there, or a target here. It just
it's tough.
Yeah, it was a rough night. It was a rough afternoon for to say the least. But to answer that, I don't know, because I'm of the opinion, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, that just Baker and Odell still. I know you said in their first year, but I'm saying this as a whole, they just do not have the chemistry. I don't see it. It just, they don't seem to, because when Landry's out there, Baker has no problem. And Landry is not that demanded, give it to me, get the ball to me type of guy. He just, if you throw it to him, he efficiently just catches it. And, he's a chain mover, and that's fine. But I don't know if I just don't know if Odell and him have the right type of chemistry. I'm not saying that they don't. It's just up until this point, it's in question.
Fair. You would love to see the talent come together and actually produce on the field together. That I think that's what's most frustrating about it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on. Like I said, Browns win this game 14-7 on the road. They're 3-1, tied for first place in the North. So, all is not lost there. What is all lost is the Titans' hope for a playoff run. They lose to the frickin' Jets 27-24 in overtime. What the hell was that? Like, come on.
I don't want to say the biggest upset. Even it was an upset. But this has to be the biggest choke job of the week right here for a team of that kind of contention. And for now, I'm going to have to suspend my conversations about Tennessee being that.
The whole AFC South is a.
I can't in good faith, and it was like, from a Jets perspective, Jets was handing it to him the whole game, and then Tennessee wanted to try to come on like game busters at the end, and I'm like, oh, so now you want to wake up, but then the Jets shows they resolve and hold on and actually took the very impressive, by the way, but from the Tennessee standpoint, the hell was that? Thank you. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves, and like as the fact. Look, you'll see it in the power rankings. I know I didn't give them to you yet. Oh, no. You're going to see. Oh, they got the biggest drop. So,
okay.
There's no way.
This is bad.
It's no way you go on the road. I don't understand. You go on the road to New York.
To the Jets.
And lose like this. Like, are you serious? Not only did you lose the game, I mean, you basically... they were sitting there with you toe to toe the entire game. Like you couldn't shake the Jets. And correct me if I'm wrong. The Jets did take the lead at one point, didn't they? Didn't it, like in the fourth quarter?
In the fourth quarter they were up, and Tennessee had to come back.
That's the way I thought I remembered it.
That's a win. Sorry, to push this into overtime. Let me correct that.
Put it to exactly. And then you couldn't capitalize out because at that point I'm like, okay, you got your scare. You're gonna come back. Go ahead and close it out. You take your little lumps. We'll talk about it. We'll move on. But you got the W. No, you give up you make the Jets look like they that team. You know, like you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
And I guess the worst part about this is that this game went on for so long that it cut into the midday games. That people weren't able to watch there was another game that was
like a whole another hour, man. I'm like, what is up with this overtime period?
That overtime period took so long.
But then they run it all. They almost ran it all the way. They almost ran the clock out. Yeah, it's just like, oh my god, that's my point. At no point, even given almost a fifth quarter, they just could not get it going, and they just did. Look, Derrick Henry had it, but the rest of that offense and definitely that defense, non-existent.
This is what I say again. It does not matter if you're in overtime or not. You cannot have Ryan Tannehill throwing for almost 50 attempts a game. It is just not going to. That is not a winning formula. And I know, and it's
Insane.
tough because you have Derrick Henry there who rushed for 33 times,
That's what I'm
and
trying to
I'm
say.
like, gee, are you
Both
kidding?
numbers
But then you
fabricated, and you
also,
still lose.
yeah,
That's ridiculous. That's 82 plays. Are you serious? Oh my goodness. It when you see volume like that, that usually is, I mean, almost it's almost guaranteed is correlated with a W. You know,
yeah.
when it's like that. That's all I had to say. I can't go any further. It was a horribly executed offense
Tennessee
in
came in this
Tennessee.
season
It's just
as a
completely horrible.
playoff team who is going to be a tough out, who is going to actually give fits to the top part of this AFC standings here. To me, this game right here, fraudulent is all I can say, because this you cannot lose to a Jets team who has been reeling. And when I say reeling, this team is like, they have no direction based off of the way that they played for the first 3 weeks of the season. Jets, you shouldn't be happy about this win at all, because there were still some things from your side that definitely need cleaning up. But hey, Zach Wilson, you only threw for 1 interception, not 4 today, so that's always a positive, moving that ratio back in the right direction.
Right.
And you guys scored, and that is a positive. And this is a young team, but these are the types of games you expect from the Jets, just scrappy, really sloppy. It doesn't look pretty, and hey, maybe we end up with the win, maybe we don't. Tennessee, you're supposed to be a team that's going to be competing against Kansas City and Cleveland, in Indianapolis,
Like we seen in that Buffalo game. You
Yeah.
would have thought we would have seen something like, okay, 24-3,
Yeah.
you know, 27, 10. Whoa, you lose in overtime 27-24. Are you serious?
This was not an okay loss for this team to have, especially in this fashion.
No, and
so
they're completely trending down, and I'm souring on them because I remember I kept saying, like, them in Arizona, you just don't know how to put your finger on it. Too. Yeah, this I am souring on Tennessee as we go. I'm not saying I'm completely out, but a loss like this has gotten my attention to pay attention to this train wreck, because
that's what it is.
I'm starting to see pretenders, not contenders, right now.
Yes. Let's talk about a team that definitely is moving back in the right direction after this win. 42-30, Chiefs win on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. Solid win, back in the win column. Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns.
Sad when you say solid win, like, yeah, but them.
Well, but I mean, again, Eagles aren't a slouch either. I mean, this is a team that's going to be very tough to play every week.
That's true.
And the first half was definitely a slog for the Chiefs. They really had a fight to get that lead there. But then third quarter happens, the Chiefs get a touchdown. Eagles are only able to put up a field goal, and then they get down early in the fourth quarter with a couple of turnovers and giving the ball back to the Chiefs, and just bad plays in certain situations that move them back, bad penalties. It kind of shooting yourself in the foot is kind of what the Eagles did at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and they tried to stay in it, but the Chiefs just capitalized off of those mistakes and exactly what they were supposed to do. Andy Reid gets his 100th win for his second on a second franchise, first head coach to ever do that. So nice little record for him to have, and it's going to be hard to be broken for sure. But yeah, the Chiefs did, like I said, they shouldn't have panicked after the 2 losses. Their defense definitely has some holes in it, but I think that defense is going to start getting a little bit better, bringing down these points against a little bit more every week, especially depending on who they're going against. And this offense is going to continuously score points. You don't have to worry about that. The defense just needs to continue to get better from week to week, and they'll be just fine. I don't have any issues saying that the Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders, even as they're in last place of the division in 2-2. I have no problem with it.
Not at all, and I'm going to continue to keep repeating this. But man, that these first 7 weeks on their schedule is just This is probably about the easiest match of the first 7 weeks anyway. But with that being said, look at what the score was.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is not an easy out. So,
And I mean, and this was that final score is closer than what it actually was based off of the beginning of that fourth quarter. Kansas City put them away, and garbage time happens, and they get a couple of scores.
right.
So yeah, but game of the week, Cardinals get a win, stay 4-0, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. They get the win in SoFi against the Rams in 37-20. Man, this team is for real.
They are. I think we had a little reservation going into the season, but about them but I always kept giving this disclaimer. A lot of this I'm like how we were doing overrated and underrated.
Yeah.
But my issue is with division they're playing.
Yep.
And well, Arizona has taken care of have answered the call on this one.
Yes,
so and they're like, what issue with the division? We're leading it.
What division?
Exactly.
Who that?
I mean, our division, the one we lead, yeah.
I mean, they lead the entire NFL right now. So, I mean.
And that's completely statement game.
Yeah.
Because everything previous week before was the Rams. Because the Rams beat the defending champ.
And with that being said, I do think we did witness some Rams hangover from the previous week.
Obviously,
because
oh my God,
yeah,
we're just celebrating they power rankings and all this. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, man, look what we did, type of thing, and which was fine. However, I mean, like, you do have a divisional rival coming up, and then that's how to be Arizona.
I think I said this to you over the phone. This Cardinals Rams game was kind of a reverse trap game for the Rams here.
Yeah, I guess, and it makes sense now.
Yeah,
watching this because. Yeah,
you got to go play against the defending Super Bowl champions and go out there and beat them handedly at that. And then you spend all that effort on that and you turn right around and then you get handedly beat by a division opponent that knows you well, that definitely has been, hey, we're little brother to you for quite some time, comes in and just kind of kicks them right in the mouth and really makes them pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
At home.
Yeah, you couldn't make a mistake in this game, and they made too many, and the Cardinals capitalized, and they ran away with it. Kyler Murray he has now overtaken Patrick Mahomes for MVP frontrunner right now, and that's way too early. We won't even start talking about that until the midway point of the year.
They'd be talking this stuff after week one. They do it week to week like it's ridiculous. But go ahead.
But yeah, but I will say I am expecting a different Rams team to come out next week. I feel sorry for the Seahawks, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, that was a tough game. That was a tough little slog for the Rams. But like you said, a statement win from the Cardinals there to be the only undefeated team left in the NFL, and doesn't look like there's going to be too many teams that can even put up a fight against them. In all honesty, because that defense is sorely underrated, and that this is one of the most balanced offenses in the league right now. They can run the ball. Their last 2 weeks, my fantasy team knows it. They're just not even looking DeAndre Hopkins' way. And they still are scoring points left and right because they've got guys like A.J. Green and Rondale Moore and James Conner and Chase Edmonds and Kyler Murray can run it himself. Like, it just doesn't even matter where they want to go with the ball. They can put the ball in spots wherever they want.
And because it's so balanced, DeAndre Hopkins technically did not have a bad game last week.
I
know he was
I'll take the 5 points
before, but yeah, 4 for 67 and 7 targets. I'm like, that's any starting receiver asking for that.
The thing that I was happy to see from DeAndre Hopkins is the drops went down. I think he was 50% on passes that he was targeted to in last week. This week, 4 for 7, I think it was. So he definitely has been picking it up. I just need to see him continue to increase that mark. And because I mean, from what we know, DeAndre Hopkins has the best hands in the league. Like he just does not drop passes. If it hits his hands, it's coming down. So that's that. Another divisional game happened as well, though, and the road team won again. Seahawks go into San Francisco and get a win, 28-21 in that midday window. Russell Wilson looked good. Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured, as that is a theme now. Trey Sermon actually looked fairly good in this game, especially in the second half. And we got some questions about Trey Lance. So across the board, this was just an interesting game. We didn't really get to see too much of it in Minnesota. Had to watch it on Game Day Live. Didn't really get to see anything but the highlights. So
I watched it on Game Day, not live.
no. But I mean, 28-21 Seahawks. I mean, I want to say that this team is kind of getting themselves back into it, but even with this second half was just like, I'm still not sold on Seattle this year.
No, and I'm gonna start and end it right at Russell Wilson's stat line. 16 for 23, 149 yards. I mean, yeah, you got the victory, but just the inefficiencies.
I think DK Metcalf went down in this game too.
I get it, but it really affected their offense.
Yeah,
and we already know that they got an offensive line issue,
running backs issue.
Right.
I think Rashad Penny's on IR.
When did he come off? Type of
he was there week 1. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like I said, when did he ever come off? Yeah. The Chris Carson. I'm not sure what happened or what was happening, or maybe nothing was happening. It was
I think he's injured too.
I believe so. That's what I'm like. I'm not exactly sure what the clear
story. Which is nothing new with their running backs, but that on top of DK going down,
right?
And now all you got is Tyler Lockett and the new Moore.
No. He
Eskridge. It was Freddie Swain. Yeah.
Freddie Swain, and then Will Dissly again.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty.
Because Everett is out with COVID. And,
oh my God, yeah,
there's so much going on here in Seattle right now. So,
Jesus.
And I mean, and now we're leaning on Travis Homers and Alex Collins. I didn't even know Alex Collins was still in the league. Like,
not
dude,
pretty.
Where have you been? And and Alex Collins was number 2 in receiving. And how did he out receive Lockett? And it just point of me sharing all of this.
You have to do is bracket Tyler Lockett and just treat him like he's Tyreek Hill.
And in saying all of this, the 49ers lost. They didn't win. I'm like,
well, because they lost Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't have the dude that just wins games. Like, doesn't matter what he does.
Right. But he started. They should have had. I don't know. This was a weird game.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you another one of these AFC West division rivalry games, and I think we got back-to-back upsets. And that's in both cases, the road teams won when they wasn't supposed to. So, yeah, this is an interesting week, a very interesting week. But I'm gonna say quality win. Take the word quality back. Impressive win. It was impressive that they won for Seattle. It's just the fact that they were able to come on the road and actually take this game back after the week before when they kind of taking it on the chin last week.
Yeah.
But, so kudos to Seattle. San Francisco, I get it. Clark Kent went down again. So Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, no, I understood the reference.
Most people are like, "Who are you talking about?" Like, look at the man. Look like a freaking model. Man.
Yeah, no, I got you, Jimmy GQ.
Yeah, exactly. But 49ers, I think this we referenced to this back weeks ago. Just this division is just going to just pound on each other.
Yeah.
And I think we had a lot of 3-3 records.
Yeah. I think everybody had in there
3-3, 4-2s, maybe 1 or 2 5-1s in the whole league. But I mean, like this one was like 3-3, 3-3, 3. I can't. But what's shocking me more so is
they're winning on the road.
They're winning on the road. Thank you. So now it's like, y'all face each other the second time.
It's going to be very interesting to see these on the flip. So
yeah, I mean, whoever comes out of the AFC West at the end of this, you earned your playoff.
Oh
spot.
God, yeah. Yeah.
Wherever you in, they should just award you one spot higher, just because. I mean, just for your look.
You had to deal with that.
Your strength of schedule was
insane.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if there's something we should be. I'm just saying. I think the NCAA nailed that in that element, but they need to translate that over to the.
They still need to get rid of the committee, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one last game, and it's the game that everybody wanted to talk about going into Sunday. Bucks on the road, taking on the Patriots. Tom Brady back in his old stomping grounds for 20 plus years. And yeah, the Bucks came out, got the win, but it was not pretty by any means.
No, no, and the Patriots was capturing the hearts and the imagination of all of us. Tom Brady haters, non-Tom Brady haters, non-Tom Brady enthusiasts,
Yeah.
Or just people who are just sick of hearing the same narrative with this guy over and over and over again. And then, of course, it was personified when he had to go back to Foxborough.
Yeah.
So the fact that New England came out like and showed that they had life gave me a whole different perspective when I watched the game.
We say that, but even with, I am thoroughly unimpressed with New England.
Take this one game sample size.
I know.
Just I'm saying
you lost to Miami. Come on.
You've seen New England's team.
And the other win that they have is to the Jets. So I'm just like, I'm not.
New England's team. That's all I'm saying. I get you. You know what? You make a strong point. Any given Sunday, we're gonna take this Sunday.
Yeah. Take this one out of it.
Just take this one game sample size. They came out and
they
showed
looked
life.
Impressive in this game.
Yes.
I will say that. I
seemed like
Mac Jones, the way he played in this game, he almost. I mean, if he would have came out and led that last drive to get a touchdown, or just get a little bit closer to make that field goal more possible for Nick Folk and take a little bit more time off the clock, that would have been vintage Tom Brady and like, oh, those are the parallels. But then again, I don't want to see that storyline come out anymore because Mac Jones is clearly not Tom Brady, in my opinion.
Right.
But he did look good for what he is as a rookie to come out there and play in such a high stakes game with all of that pressure that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really, really good in that light.
Yes.
Outside of that, only putting up 17 points against an offense, or sorry, a defense rather, in the Bucks that lost a lot of their DBs. They have like the only DB they have has been there for less than a week in Richard Sherman.
Right.
And so how are you not able to capitalize? Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, how are you not capitalizing on the fact that they don't have DBs to stop your receiving game?
Well, unfortunately,
they don't have one.
To that. That New England don't have receivers who actually really catch the ball.
Again, and this is what I was saying going into the season when they decided to go after Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I was like, okay, why aren't you guys going after Kenny Golladay? Why aren't you going after Juju Smith? Why are you getting receivers, guys on the outside who can really bust open plays? This dink and dunk stuff is not going to work against good defenses, and it didn't. And that's where you take the sample size and you're looking at this team. Yes, you looked impressive. 31 for 40 for Mac Jones, 275, 2 touchdowns.
See that average though? That is
your yards per attempt is horrible. What is it at?
6.9. And that's him dinking and dunking. But I understand it from the tight end standpoint. But those wideouts,
Jacoby Myers, what happened where are to you the at? Number Nelson
two,
Aguilar.
Right. Where's the number 2 and the number 1 guy that you got your 3 and your 4 guy, but where's, you know what I'm saying? They have no number 1. They're pieces, right? But they're not supposed to be the man. It's almost like what you've seen in Detroit, not changing the subject, but you've seen the exact same thing. They just kind of, let's just go bottom basement shopping here.
But then the other thing is that even when you are going to bring in these two tight ends and you're playing these 2 tight end sets, okay, that would lend me to believe, okay, we're going to go on a tight end heavy packages and we're going to continue to throw them. They're going to be our number 1 receivers. No, Hunter Henry was the number 5 wide receiver in this game. Right. And Jonnu Smith was 7. Like, come on. Like, that's not enough.
And that's
especially for the prices that you paid for them.
My question is, were these guys brought in for Cam or were they brought in for Mac Jones? Literally, I really have to, because it seemed like you could see it now. It's a disconnect. I'm like, you have 2 solid tight ends, and they're not even being.
You know what's concerning is that I think they were brought in for Mac Jones.
Really?
Yes, because I don't think tight end play doesn't lend well to Cam Newton's play style. He runs the play because I think that also these aren't really blocking tight ends to me.
No, not
and so if you're going to say that you're going to use them for Cam Newton, I would believe that if you brought in a guy that's in the same model as a George Kittle like a dude that can truly block, that
Right.
can really move a D lineman if he really needs to, and set that edge
Right.
for Cam Newton to do the sprint out plays or the zone reads and whatnot. Like he can really make sure that he can thrive within that. But these are tight ends that are catching tight ends that are kind of elusive. They're not necessarily vertical threats. They're really kind of like possession tight ends to make sure that they don't they're fail-safe tight ends.
Let me be very and also comma they're red zone tight ends. That's what they are.
That's the word I was looking for. But yeah, but you have no other receivers to get you in the red zone. That's the other issue. So
No, Myers, Bourne, Aguilar, at best, on a good week, mid-range wide receiver number 2s.
Yeah.
Like
you know what kind of throws me off is that they even trotted out N'Keal Harry in this game. 1 reception for 10 yards
I
for a
seen
dude that's
his
asked
name
for
in the stat line. I'm like, oh, he's back. Like, I mean, he's back like in the NFL. Like, why is he even still, let alone on this team? It's like this dude has not shown anything since he's been in the league. So, with that, 19-17, very close matchup. I'm just a little disappointed because New England had
so
it.
close. Nick
So
Folk
close.
was literally you move that up a yard, make it a 55-yard field goal instead of 56, that goes through.
Yeah. And just, I mean, it would just be the
weather definitely played
even a
a role in this
scorecard
game.
for Belichick, just so I don't have to just hear the ongoing Brady pageantry all freaking year long. Like, dude, we get it, but let's be real clear. He's on a super team, and he's part of it.
And this super team is very vulnerable. They've got kryptonite on them right now.
Right, and they keep just like, oh, the heroics of Tom Brady. I mean, you can pick any quarterback now and put them on this team, and they're going to be successful. I'm not going to say they're going to win the title, but they will be successful. That's all I want to say.